What if a single court ruling could unravel hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and redraw the limits of presidential power in the process? Over recent weeks, that scenario has unfolded in the United States, with consequences reaching far beyond its borders. At the center of the dispute are the Liberation Day tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump. The measures targeted imports from major trading partners, including China, Mexico, and Canada. They were enacted under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, known as IEEPA, a law intended to grant limited authority during economic emergencies. Tariffs had already become a central feature of U.S. trade policy. Earlier duties on steel, automobiles, and other goods sparked debate over their legality and economic impact. Supporters described them as protection for domestic industry. Critics warned of higher consumer costs and strained alliances. The Liberation Day measures marked one of the broadest uses of emergency trade authority in decades. Then the legal challenge gained momentum. Two lower courts ruled that the sweeping tariffs exceeded presidential authority. The case reached the Supreme Court. In a 6-3 decision, the justices concluded that IEEPA did not authorize broad, open-ended tariffs without congressional approval. The ruling struck down the Liberation Day measures, but left intact tariffs enacted under other statutes, including separate authorities covering steel and automobiles. While the case moved through the courts, the tariffs remained in place. By early December 2025, total tariff revenue had reached roughly $257 billion, including about $167 billion from the newer measures. For comparison, federal income taxes generated more than $2.4 trillion in 2024. Economists note that tariffs are paid directly by importers. Those costs can move through supply chains, influencing pricing, investment decisions, and trade flows. The court's ruling did not immediately resolve how refunds would be handled. Thousands of companies are now seeking reimbursement for duties paid under the invalidated authority. Administration officials have indicated that any refund process could take years and may involve further litigation. Within hours of the decision, President Trump announced a new 10% global tariff under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, citing balance of payments concerns. He later stated that the rate would rise to 15%. Under the statute, such tariffs expire after 150 days without congressional approval. They can be reintroduced if conditions are declared again, but the authority is temporary and procedurally limited. The administration has also signaled plans to rely on Section 301 of the same law. That provision allows targeted tariffs following investigations into unfair trade practices. Officials say these mechanisms could preserve parts of the previous tariff framework, though through narrower legal pathways. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer indicated that the 15% rate may not apply uniformly. Some countries could face higher duties depending on negotiations and existing agreements. Arrangements involving China, with tariff levels ranging between 30% and 50%, are expected to remain in effect under separate authority. President Trump has argued that the court's decision does not eliminate his broader trade powers under existing statutes. Legal analysts counter that while Congress has delegated limited authority, sweeping trade actions still require clear legislative authorization. Political reactions have been divided. Some lawmakers have suggested clarifying tariff powers through legislation. Others remain cautious, reflecting broader debates over trade, inflation, and industrial policy. Internationally, governments are watching closely. Several trading partners have refrained from immediate public responses, while financial markets have reacted cautiously to each new announcement. Businesses are reassessing supply chains amid continued uncertainty. The implications extend beyond tariffs themselves. The ruling reinforces the principle that major trade actions must rest on explicit congressional authority. At the same time, it highlights the range of alternative tools available to the executive branch, each with defined limits and review mechanisms. In the months ahead, the administration is expected to formalize the 15% tariff through supplemental proclamations. Additional Section 301 investigations may follow. Meanwhile, refund claims are likely to move slowly through lower courts. Congress could intervene to clarify or expand trade authority, but with narrow majorities and a midterm election cycle approaching, sweeping legislative changes appear uncertain. The next phase will test how executive power operates within statutory boundaries and how trading partners respond to renewed U.S. tariff measures. For now, the court's decision stands as a pivotal moment in the balance between presidential authority and congressional control over trade policy. Whether it reshapes American tariff strategy or simply redirects it through new legal channels will become clearer in the months ahead.